Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, your co-host to the Grilling to Get Away podcast. Here's my buddy.
What's up, everyone? This is Ben.
What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
We went separate ways this weekend.
We did. Yeah. It's been a while.
Good.
It's been a week since I saw you last.
Yeah, man.
No. I saw you real quick Friday morning.
That's right. Yeah.
But for what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, right.
5 minutes?
Yeah, in between passing by. Well, it's good, man. Like, I want to talk to you about how the show went down in Chicago. Today we're talking about some, basic beginner grilling questions. So I'm curious to see if you got anything like that. But before we get into it, like if you're watching, if you're listening, we appreciate you subscribing to the podcast, sharing it with your friends that might be barbecuing and grilling. So that's how we grow the show. But anyways, man, so how'd it go down in Schaumburg at the Chicagoland Fishing Expo?
Man, it was interesting. They had a lot of sweet fishing gear.
Yeah, I
so
bet.
we lost money over the weekend.
I didn't see too many sales coming in. I was like, it must be all cash.
Cash
only, huh?
Cash only,
Under the table, I was like, okay, I see.
Well, there's a lot of trades. I'll trade you these awesome fishing lures for a rub.
Did you, I saw this one post, man, where this guy started with like a paper clip or something like that. And like he made a trade like every day. And eventually, like, he traded his way from that paperclip up to, like, a full house.
Huh.
So, like, he traded, like, a paperclip for a pen, and then used the pen to trade for something else, and he kept doing that for, like, a whole year. And he wound up getting, like, the deed to a house.
Well, delete this, and that's our new...
That's a new gig.
Yeah, new business strategy.
Right.
I just got to find a paperclip.
Find a penny and trade it for $1 million.
Yeah. Someone else will make that trade.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you talked to a lot of people out there?
A lot of people, man. It was funny, dude. Like this one kid, I want to say he was like in his teens, maybe early 20s max. All right. He comes up to me, he's like, what do you got here, man? You got bait? I was like, no, I've got like just some barbecue, like rubs, sauces and stuff. And he's like, oh, like, do I sprinkle this on the bait? Like if I have a minnow, I'm fishing with a minnow, I sprinkle it on there.
You could.
I said, that's what I told him. I was like,
probably catch everything in that lake.
Yeah, I told him that, man. He didn't buy anything. He tried it.
Get out of here. He didn't buy anything?
Yeah, no, he didn't.
It's on your bait?
Yeah. I was like, man. I was like, where the hell is Greg? He's got it.
I was like, hey, now tell him. Ask him if you put this on your bait.
Is he around the corner?
Practical jokester.
Yeah, he's putting me on something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty funny, man. No, we talked to a lot of people, man. It was cool. A lot of competition teams down there.
Really?
Yeah,
Down in the Chicago area, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people coming up, and
I guess fishing and barbecue kind of go hand in hand. So if you like to do competition barbecue, you might like to get out there on the lake.
I guess, yeah. And you had a lot of the vendors too, like from either they were on comp teams, help comp teams, previously been on comp teams and all this stuff too, man. So it was cool. It was a lot of different like perspectives and stuff. A lot of backyard people, which was awesome. And I can't tell you, man. I probably talked to like 5 different people at least that said that they cook whole pigs.
Oh yeah.
Greg, listen to this, man. It's this one guy. He had built his own like custom smoker, and it's like a giant like drum smoker, right? And he's got he was telling me he does like pigs, and he does pigs in it. And I asked like, "Oh, are you doing this for like events and stuff? Like, are you catering, or are you just?" He's like, honestly, like a lot of friends and family. I might do like an event or two a year, like, but for the most part, it's just kind of friends and family. And he was showing me pictures of his smoker and stuff, and I was asking him about are you putting the pig like flat, or are you doing like rotisserie style? He's like, well, I got a rotisserie in there. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, and it's like, it's pretty high up, right? It's pretty tall, pretty big. He's got, this big drum on a trailer and stuff. And so I was like, so how big of pigs are you doing? He's like, well, typically like at least 100 pounds, probably on average about like 120.
Nice. That's a nice size.
That's a good size pig.
Yeah.
Right? And he said the biggest pig I've ever done was 200.
Ooh.
And I was like, man, I bet that was fun putting in there. Because he was like, God, you had no idea.
Yeah.
All I could think about was like, imagine like lifting it up, you and like your buddy like getting a 200 pound pig like in there and like on the spit. Because you got to like reach up and in and stuff. Like,
you gotta get it in there.
Yeah, I was like,
make sure you lift with your back.
Yeah. It's like, man, I can't wait to tell Greg about this one, man.
Yeah, we'd have to get in.
Oh.
I think you and I could do it right now.
Yeah.
Like if we did it properly, you know, like put it on our shoulders, lift it up with
Right,
the legs,
quick. Get in, quick,
have
quick.
somebody guide it in.
Yeah.
Man. So like on our YouTube, like I did like a YouTube short. Remember when we did the pig with the chickens?
Yeah,
You know,
a whole pig and
whole
30
pig,
chickens. That was awesome.
Well, we got the rotisserie, but then we got the chicken, like the pig rotisserie in the middle, and then the chickens on each side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not directly over it. You wouldn't believe how many comments I got. Like, that's not sanitary. I was like, man, like the pig is not right over the chickens. Like the chickens are separated and the pig is in the middle. So it's not dripping on top of them.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
What are you worried about?
Yeah. So it was one of those things. Like you gotta know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And,
this was also like, what, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. But I just repurposed it, you know, kind of like bringing it back a little bit.
Yeah. To this day, we didn't hear of anybody getting food poisoning or sick.
That's what I said.
Like
We've done it multiple times, and
yeah,
things are going well. So it's like, yeah. Well, you just got people out there just don't know until you try it, I guess.
Well, like you don't know what we did. This is just
exactly. This is a video like literally 16 seconds of a video of a cook that we did. So we get those comments all the time. So don't feel bad like if you're out there trying new stuff and people are like being snobs about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, we hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
And we keep going. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of take it with a grain of salt, literally, I guess.
Yeah, I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
So, but I just, that reminded me of that. Like, but like, yeah, man, 200-pound.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man. That's like me. You're like putting me up there.
I just throw you in there.
Yeah, there you go. Get in there.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. But any questions or anything else you got from, talking with people out there?
Let's see. Yeah, dude, so I talked to one guy who he does a lot of stuff like in the circuit, and I was like, oh man, like, talking about like what they cook a lot of and all this stuff and whatever. And I was like, well, what do you like to eat? Like, what do you like to cook? He's like, he goes, awesome, man. The only barbecue like I can eat right now are pork steaks. It's like everything else, like I'm just trying it just to like check like the texture, like make sure it's good for turning and stuff like that. He's like, other than that, man, I don't enjoy barbecue.
Oh, it was. I was like, well,
that sounds like
that's one way to look. Yeah, one way to look at it.
It's like bummer,
right, man? Like he's just cooking for other people.
Well, he was, like I said, he was like part of a comp team and stuff, and like.
So like, he lost the luster at by doing it,
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's like that's tough.
I mean, and competition barbecue, man, that's a lot different too.
That's way different. Yeah, that's why I
putting a lot of different stuff on there too. So I guess I don't blame him too much if he's not trying everything or if he's not eating everything that's coming off there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he said he's like, I don't even want to. I'm just trying it just to try it, make sure it hits the flavor profile and stuff. I was like, oh, wow,
interesting.
Yeah, what a treat. Like,
yeah,
good for you. Man. Oh no, it was funny. It was interesting, but
yeah.
Let's see, man. Let's see. I'm trying to think if anything, like nothing off the wall, just kind of like your typical stuff, like lots of beef, lots of pork, lots of chicken. Like it's kind of your traditional.
Yeah.
What do you do for this or that? But no, it was interesting to me, like hearing the amount of people say that they do whole pigs, which is what we talked about, kind of the fads for like the new year and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was decent, man. It was a good show. Got to talk to, like I said, a lot of barbecue, a lot of different people and stuff. Man, it was interesting. Like one guy, like his wife came up and she was looking at stuff and she had like a sweatshirt on and I was asking her about it and, cause I had like some team on there or whatever. And she said it's like her husband's best friend from high school, like his business. And he does a lot of, traveling around and doing barbecue stuff. And I was like, oh man, like, do you guys do a lot with him? And she's like, well, yeah, we'll help out and all this stuff. And like, he came by and like, she was like, this is the stuff. And he just kind of kept going. She's like, do you want to try anything? And he just kind of shook his head and he looked at me. It's like, yeah, I think I texted you this, but he was like, yeah, it's not, I can't get drunk. Barbecue's just not fun anymore. Grilling's not fun anymore. It's like, well, that sounds like a problem.
Yeah,
sir.
man. Sounds like a lot of downers down there in
like,
Schaumburg.
Like,
huh?
okay, well. Okay.
I guess, man. Like, you know, we don't talk about it that much, but like, I stopped drinking a couple years ago.
But
And you know, I still continue to get out there, like, and enjoy it
and have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, wow.
Man, we started the podcast. When we started the podcast, as we go all the way back to when we started, man, we'd crack open a beer and drink on while we're recording the podcast. And, you know, because you were still working full time at that time, so you'd come over at night and you'd grab like a 6-pack or a 4-pack of Tall Boys on the way over here, and we'd drink and talk barbecue. But you know, life changes, and made some personal changes, and like I'm not drinking anymore, but I certainly still love the grill and barbecue. You know,
it didn't change. Like you changed one aspect of your life, but that doesn't affect everything else, right?
Exactly.
So and it's the same. Like, do I enjoy having a beer, some drinks when I'm grilling? Absolutely.
Right. But if you
have to
right, exactly,
I don't have to have it to barbecue.
Is it like the main reason? Like,
I don't barbecue so I can drink. You know, I don't grill out. I don't know.
Maybe it's the other way. Maybe
it's
it's
oh goodness, sir. Well,
sorry.
That's,
if you ever change your mind,
no. Oh, bummer.
Yeah, shoot.
Yeah,
good conversation. But we get to have those conversations with a lot of people that come up all the time. I used to do it all the time, and now I don't for whatever reason. And so teach his own.
Yeah, I did talk to a lot of people with pit bosses.
Man, that's crazy. I was at Frost Fest in Milwaukee here, and a lot of people I talked to had pit bosses as well. Yeah, just got like brand new ones, like picked it up after Christmas, like for like they were on sale or whatever. Picked up a new one, putting it together, and like getting ready just to do their first cooks on it.
Yeah, like a lot of people just like one guy had just bought it last week and stuff, and he had his first cook that he was gonna do like on Saturday or Sunday and stuff, and he picked up some stuff. A lot of big green eggs too.
Really? Yeah, I guess Chicago area there. Surprised like Weber's not a little bit bigger because they got the headquarters there down there. But,
not a lot of Weber's. I mean, there are a couple and stuff, but like, I think I didn't hear much about like kettles. If people brought up Weber, it's more like the Smoky Mountain.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what else, man. Like, not so much Traegers. Like one guy was in the market and stuff, and kind of going back and forth on a few things. Talked to a few people who were like, yeah, I mean, I've got a pellet grill, but it's just not the same. It doesn't give me the same smoke as as what I'm looking for. I want to go back to like the charcoal or whatever and stuff. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Starting to hear a little bit more of that.
A little bit. Yep.
Did you see Weber came out with their new lineup last week? I think it was.
Yeah.
And Traeger released their new lineup. So interesting stuff. Like we didn't talk about it last week, but
this is fresh last week.
Yeah, it just came out. People were going all over doing their reviews, and I mean you could go on Instagram and see like a million people unboxing their new Traegers. So I mean it looked like a pellet grill, man, with like a skillet on it.
There was one guy, man. What did he have? He had it was either it was him and his buddy, and they both bought some stuff, but like his buddy was like making fun of him. He's like, yeah, dude, it's like a hillbilly backyard in there. Like you got like grills on top of grills and stuff. Like, man, sounds awesome. And
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's like, well, joke's on you, man.
Yeah. I saw I forget what company it was. They just came out with a charcoal and a pellet one together, like combined. Combined. And I was looking at some reviews out there, so you can put the charcoal in the basket, and then on the side it has an auger for pellets, so it's kind of got both. They're both in a basket. So the charcoal, like you just put it's like a kettle, so like a cylinder, like round kettle type of main cooking compartment, but then on the side it's got a box like an auger, so you put the pellets in there, but then you would put the charcoal in the bottom of the actual kettle.
Okay.
So, I don't know, man. Like I could go either way with that. Like I get it. Like you got both, but at the same time, then I like my kettle because there's less to break on it. You know what I mean? Like I could just pour charcoal. Yeah, right. I could just pour charcoal in it and then put some wood chips in there, and then like worst thing that happens is it goes out or it gets too hot. Like if I got this auger and I got this pellet thing on the side,
then you need power.
You need power for that, yeah. There's just too many other variables that could go wrong. So like, I think the video I was watching, like he was using both. So like he was using like the smoke from the pellets, and he was using the heat from the the charcoal as a review to test it out. So he did both just to kind of.
I mean, cool, man. That's cool. Like,
look at that science, innovation.
The best of both worlds, I guess. What was he saying about? Was he saying like he liked it? Do you remember like from the video and stuff? What was his review of it?
So it was like you can go out there and look at it because I think he actually used their products for what he was cooking. It's Tom Horseman. He's out there on YouTube, and that's how I came about it. Was because he tagged us on YouTube out there, and I think he kind of gave it a thumbs up, but like I'd have to go and watch it again.
Okay.
But yeah, he was using our fire for effect on whatever he was cooking. Like I think it was a steak, like so he liked it on the beef.
Nice. Yeah, man, we get that a lot and stuff, and that's always funny. And I tell you this all the time too. When people tell us that, I'm like, dude, this guy said he puts it on his brisket. Like, it's to me, it's such a weird concept, like a kind of like a goofy flavor mashing and stuff. But like people love it and stuff, which is awesome. So, let's try it out a little bit more, I guess, because I'm always like, you have your favorites, and this I like this and that, and if I'm cooking certain things a certain way, it's just like I never really think to grab like that fire for effect and pair it with beef. So maybe next chuck roast I do, I'll do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could go out and watch the video. His name's Tom Horseman. He's out there on YouTube. When you talk about like a backyard full, like he does like almost every week he gives like a product review of something like a smoker or a grill. So like his garage is just packed with new products of doing reviews and stuff. And he's here local. I think he's in Oak Creek.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I know we've sent him some stuff in the past, and he likes using it. So he sometimes features it when he's doing reviews of these grills and stuff. But you can find him on YouTube. I think you can find him on Facebook too. But good videos to check out if you're interested, because he reviews a lot of different types of smokers and grills and accessories and stuff. So that was just a side note. But yeah, man. So anything else stood out for you at the Chicagoland Fishing Expo?
So it was funny. The lady next to me was selling like salts and stuff like that, right? And
like salts, not like bath salts.
No. Yeah, like salt, like salt.
Put it on food salt.
Yeah. Yep. Norwegian salt. Her name was Amy from Salty Provisions. Very nice. Good product and stuff. So it's her and I next to each other, and I brought out like a ton of our like fish and wild game seasoning because it's a fishing expo, right?
You think that might move? Yeah.
Honestly, man, like that was probably like our least selling. Which was funny. And I said something to her. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I brought a ton of our fish and wild game seasoning, and that like has hardly sold. And she goes, I know. I keep talking to people about like, yeah, you can put this on fish. She goes, I don't think people here eat fish.
Like, there you go.
They just
like the trophy catch, and then throw it back,
I guess,
or mount it on the wall.
Yeah, but she's like, yeah, I keep talking to people about like it just, but.
That's interesting because like when we go up to the Ice Fishing Expo up in Madison coming up in February, like that was our top seller last year. The Milwaukee Sports Show, that's usually our top seller. So even during the summer months when we go kind of in the northern counties here in Wisconsin, that moves pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, I
was you learn something new every time you go out to these events,
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, like at the Frost Fest, I was connecting with some other veterans and stuff. Just talking about what other people are cooking. A lot of steak, a lot of beef. Burgers was a question I got quite a bit. And I guess it's about that time. You want quick cooks outside when it's a little bit colder out. So, but yeah, I didn't really get too many questions. It was a lot more kind of just connecting with other veterans and resources and stuff like that. So, but good, man. That kind of rolls into today, man. So today's episode, we're talking about kind of commonly asked barbecue questions. Now for this one, in the past we'd gone out and we like solicited questions from like our followers, in our Facebook group and things like that. But I did something different this time. So I went out to ChatGPT, the AI, and then I asked it to give me a list of common barbecue questions based off of internet searches. Because, ChatGPT only goes up to, I think 2022 when this thing was, so, and I don't know if it's updated or not, but so it gave me like a list of like almost like 30 questions, and it broke it out by like categories, like top, beginner questions in general. And then it goes like for meat, like burgers, and then it goes like just seafood and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, I said, Now, out of this list, give me like the top 7 searched questions that
Okay.
beginners have. So this is what I have here, and I want to get your take on something.
All right.
I haven't looked at it other than just pulling it up here because I did this morning before we came on here. So the number one question that ChatGPT, according to ChatGPT and the interwebs, because this is where they pull the information from, is regarding cooking and grilling and barbecuing is, how do I know if my food is done?
Oh, great question.
I could see that.
Yeah,
If
I mean
that's
one of the most important questions, isn't it?
If you are new to cooking in general, like how do I know if my food is done where it's going to be safe, right? So what would you say to somebody like if I came up to you, hey man, like I'm just getting started here, how can I tell if my food's done?
Like if it's beef, is it still mooing?
And
some people
got
like
the jokes, yeah.
Some people still like it like that, It's crazy.
I'm a kind of a rare, medium rare.
Yeah.
I like it a little bit like red inside.
Still bleeding out. No, man. I mean, obviously, we talk about this quite a bit, but like one of the most useful, beneficial tools that you can get is a good thermometer.
Thermometer.
Having a thermometer on hand, and like I swear every cookbook, man, has like a temp guide in it.
Like a good guide like if you're
Yep.
cooking this food, usually the meat, because the meat's
even on the
biggest
package, like whatever you buy, like the meat in, typically the package is gonna have cooked to internal temp of whatever. So, but yeah, that's interesting, man. Like talk to a few people, like people doing like pork tenderloins and stuff, and pulling it around like 135, 140, and letting it rest to get up to 145.
Sure,
and then, cutting it then. So, I think on like I guess it just kind of depends on like what you're looking for. But yeah, I mean, it's read the package.
So I mean, for the basics, yeah. So like if you're doing chicken, 165. Now let's say you're doing like a brisket or something that you want to pull apart tender. Technically, it's done at 165, right? But what would you say? Like, hey, how do I know if it's like good, like done? Like I know it's done, it's cooked through, it's not going to make anybody sick. But like now I want to make sure like it's
gonna shred.
Tastes good or whatever,
It tastes good, or it's gonna.
Or
shred,
it's gonna it's gonna be pull apart and like tender, melt in my mouth, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like again, same. You can still use like that, like your thermometer used as like a probe. Stick it in, probe tender. Typically you're going around like between 2 to 205.
Yeah,
200 to 205.
Yeah, like our buddy Chad, who owns American Made Barbecue, he's like, it's probe tender. Like you put it in, it feels like butter, like warm butter. So you're not getting any resistance when you're putting your probe in there, or you're sticking a knife in there, or whatever you're using to probe it. It goes in without a lot of resistance.
Fork too.
Yeah, fork.
Yeah, man. It's and stick it all the way through, right?
Right.
It's gonna have different layers depending on like what you're doing, how thick it is, and stuff like that. And I talked to a lot of people doing briskets this weekend too, man, and they were saying like, well, it's just so big and it costs so much, and like there's a lot of kind of pushback on that. It's like, well, yeah, you can just play with the chuck roast. It's a good cut of meat. It's a lot cheaper. It's he's like, yeah. Some guy was like, yeah, it's like I used to get briskets all the time like 20 years ago before it was anything. It's like now that decimal points moved like 2 spots to the right. Like,
sure has. Yeah.
He was all mad about it. It's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, like just like, there's other meats that you can do. You don't have like brisket's fun to do, obviously, and stuff. Like it's not, you don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And like one guy was on mad. He's like, yeah, I can't do a whole brisket at a time. Like I don't have any room. Like,
yeah.
Like, well, separate it then.
Yeah. Cut it up. Save some for if you don't have to do the whole one.
Yeah.
All right. So that was number one. Number two question: how can I keep food from sticking to the grill? Now I have my preferences based off of our best friend Stephen Reichland's tips. I always like doing olive oil. Like I'll take a little bit of olive oil, put that on a paper towel, and then I'll grease that over the grates. But I know there's a few other tips out there that you can use to make sure that your food doesn't stick. Do you have any other ones there?
Yeah, I mean you can use a grill spray.
Spray,
and
I've seen that some people use like the Pam or like the olive oil spray or whatever.
Yeah, I mean I'm with you. I kind of like doing the olive oil and stuff. I'll be honest with you, man. Like I've seen like the onion, where you cut like an onion in half. I really like that idea.
Just like you take a half, cut an onion in half, and then you stick a fork in it and just rub it over the grates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I've seen that one too. Mm-hmm. I've seen aluminum foil, but I don't know. I think that's more cleaning, not really sticking, non-stick.
Well, and that's too, like, I think, like, if you're going to do like fish or something like that, right? Like you're just going to put it, kind of wrap your grill or, the portion where you're cooking at, like with aluminum foil. So it's not going to be directly on the grates. You're just kind of protecting your grill and I guess the meat a little bit more.
Yeah. That's kind of, those are like the I think the two top ones, use some olive oil, put it on like a paper towel, or, use some spray. Just be careful with the spray that you're not getting like a flames kissing you. Yeah. All right. Number 3, question, beginning barbecue questions here. How long does it take to preheat a grill?
Well, it depends on how much you're doing, like kind of, I guess, what type of grill you have and what you're using.
Yeah. So if you're doing like, let's say like
cars, like typical chimney, you're doing a Weber kettle, something like that. Again, like a lot depends on, I guess, the method I'm using as well. But if I'm just kind of doing like the indirect, my average kind of indirect grilling, probably from a half hour to an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like typical, like if I'm doing a chimney, like charcoal, you start, I usually do like 20-minute intervals. So like I'll light my chimney, let that go for about 20 minutes, and then I'll dump it and I'll let the grill preheat for about 20 minutes. So you got to kind of plan ahead. It's not as easy as like a gas grill where you could probably preheat in about 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that.
Same thing with a pellet.
Yeah. Probably be a little bit quicker than like a charcoal or like a stick burner or something like that. All right. What are the best foods to grill?
All of them.
Boom, write that down.
Yeah, man, like, yeah, go for it. Why not?
Right. Whatever you feel like you want to.
We've done what? I've done cheesecake, chocolate cake.
I've done
cookies,
brownies,
like vegetable,
desserts.
Like whatever. I've smoked water and
make some ice cubes.
Made some ice cubes for
cheese.
Putting whiskey, cheese. I mean,
yeah, that's a good point.
Literally, like,
I've smoked whiskey too before.
Yeah. I've seen like smoked ice cream too, man. That was that's a side note that we'll have to talk about. Maybe a side business hustle or something.
Smoked ice cream. I see that alcohol infused ice cream always crushes it everywhere we go.
Yeah, right. Especially that
sweets and alcohol together.
That Winterfest where it's cold as hell and they're just
people just line up for
they're crushing it. Yeah, I don't know why you're doing samples. It's freezing out here.
Just give it away. Just make it, sell it.
But yeah, honestly, like, I mean, you have your basics, your traditionals, right? Burgers, wings, like chicken, like whatever, like just. But yeah, I mean, it's pizzas, man. We've done frozen pizzas and stuff like, and it's awesome,
man.
It's awesome. Like, so yeah, I don't know if I can say what food is the best. Like, it's all the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just starting out, start easy, like we said before. Hot dogs, burgers, brats. But there's really no. I guess the best food is the one that you're grilling at that time.
Yeah. I will say this too, man. Like, I got asked a lot about ribs from like
really
some older guys and stuff. Like, and I was like, "Have you tried the party ribs?"
Yeah.
And I explained it to them. They're like, "Dude, I don't know why I didn't think of that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Try it. Next time you try it, send us an email. Absolutely. Let us know how it goes and what you think." And they're like, "Dude, it sounds awesome."
That's awesome.
Like, so yeah, hopefully, I mean, yeah, it's just like I think that's the fun thing about barbecue, right? Even though you've done ribs for how long, how many years this way, it's like this whole new wave coming out.
Variation, yeah.
And it's just like this one dude was like, "Dude, you're blowing my mind right now."
Well, let me tell you. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I mean, yeah, have fun. Don't take it too serious, but have a good time. It's give it a try. Literally, like, what haven't we seen grilled, man? Like, I'm trying to think, like,
yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, I saw octopuses the other day.
Ooh.
Dude, I saw, like, I don't even know what this was, but the guy kept a head on it. It must have been like a muskrat or something like that.
Possum?
Yeah. No, man.
It's good eating.
Yeah, maybe a beaver. Like, so it had the head on there with the fur still and the teeth. And then, like, obviously they shaved the body. So, like, you're going to probably eat the body and stuff. So, and then he had it sitting on beer cans, like 4 beer cans. So it was like a long, like I don't know, like 2 to 3 feet long. Like,
were these beer cans empty?
Nah, I think it was kind of like a beer can chicken, but whatever this thing was, I didn't stick around to find out exactly what it was. I was like, man, that's disgusting. That was one thing I probably wouldn't eat.
Oh,
that.
come on, man.
I don't know.
You would eat it. I've seen you eat way worse.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I don't even know what it was. It looked like a beaver or a muskrat or something like that.
I was talking to this one kid.
Maybe it was Nutra.
Maybe. Yeah, it probably was. It probably was. I was talking to this one dude, and he came over, and I asked him, like, what do you like to cook? And I swear to God, he said snake.
Okay.
And I was like, I go, really, snake? And he goes, no, steak.
He was messing with you.
No, he wasn't. He said steak, but I heard snake. I heard snake. And I just kind of looking at him, I was like, okay, I can see that, but like, tell me more about it.
How do you season it?
Yeah, what do you use now? And he just started laughing. He's like, I don't think I'd be eating too much snake down here in Illinois, you know?
Well, you never know. Get that mailed to you nowadays.
Oh, yeah. It was funny, though. It's like, what do you know, snake.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snake? Really? And he goes, oh, I said steak.
Steak.
Well, that makes way more sense.
Steak, you idiot. All right, man. So next question on top 7 ChatGPT questions for beginners. How do I deal with flare-ups on the grill? We talked about this one not too long ago because of your smash burgers. One way is just put the lid back on. Yeah. Could do that. What else?
Closing the vents a little bit. Mm-hmm. You're messing with your vents. You know, with the flare-ups, obviously, you want to eliminate oxygen. Right. How does a fire burn? It needs oxygen to burn. So if you close your vents in the bottom, or you know, put your lid on and stuff, and then a big thing too is, you know, when you do open it up again, make sure it's, you know, your face isn't directly in front of it. You want to protect yourself. Some people looking at like our gloves this weekend, they asked if we had any like masks or anything like that, and for like to prevent hair loss from flare-ups. I said, well, if that's happening on a regular basis, I think you're doing it wrong. Like, usually it should only happen like once, max twice. If you know,
were these serious questions or are they joking around?
Yeah, he kind of laughed.
Was he a bald guy or something?
No, yeah, I don't remember, man.
Did he have a big beard that was like?
I was like, well, I think if it happens to you more than once, you might be doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say I just, obviously, like I think my guess is most flare-ups are coming through if you're using a stick burner, right?
Yeah, you got something right underneath, like a flame, like unless of course you got a pellet and then the auger starts smoking because because it's not cleaned or anything like that. It starts on fire.
I guess, you know, then.
But this is more kind of more flare-ups on the grill. So you know, close the lids. You know, this, you know, another thing that you might consider if you're smoking something or grilling something that's really extra fatty, you know, consider to trim that a little bit.
Well, it's too, man. Like you can pull the food and move it out.
Have a couple zones. So, you know, a cool zone so you can pull that meat and put it over to the cool side. So it's not right over the coals anymore.
Have a poker so that you can kind of move some of those coals around too and get those out of the way.
And have some nice sturdy welding gloves or grill gloves that go up to like your elbows, so if you have to, you can stick your hand in there and get whatever you need out of there. Yeah, so you don't burn yourself.
Well, you know, if you have to pull like the grate off with the food on top of it, have to set on like your side table or whatever. I mean, have some good gloves where you can do that quick and take care of the fire and get back to it.
Yeah. All right, man. Last 2 questions for you. These are kind of, I think, softball ones. So let's knock them out of the park.
I love some softball.
Is there a difference between grilling and barbecuing?
Yes.
What is that difference?
So, you know, you talk to a lot of people. It's funny too, because we get this a lot, right? Like, we ask you, like, my general question is like, what do you like to cook?
Yeah. Because then we can tailor our answer to whatever they say.
And you know, you get people that are like, well, I've got a smoker, I've got a grill and stuff. So, you know, they say like, you know, your barbecuing is more like your hot dogs, your brats, your burgers, like kind of your hot and fast and stuff. And like your grilling or like your smoking is obviously it's low and slow and you're cooking it over time.
I think you have it backwards.
Oh, do I? I'm sorry.
Barbecuing is low and slow.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Grilling is hot and fast.
Hot and fast.
Yeah.
Well, like that's why, like, we get all these people that come up to us all the time. Like, that's why I don't ask, like, well, what do you like to grill? What do you like to barbecue? And stuff. Like, what do you like to cook?
Yeah.
Because it's not just like a typical, like, you know, it doesn't have to just be like one or the other. Because like, look at, like, we do both all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's all.
we can smoke on the grill. We can barbecue on the grill, right? So
to me, it's just like, well, I just like to cook, man.
And it depends on where you're at too. Like, I know it's regional, so to speak. Like I'll never forget like this one. Like we were at church, and like I was gonna be cooking for church, and so like, I said I'd do some pulled pork or whatever, like that, and somehow it got translated into barbecue, and people translated barbecue into sloppy joes. So like they were expecting me to bring like sloppy joe meat, so like that's what they call barbecue.
What?
Yeah, it was weird. Like I felt bad because I would
have felt bad.
People can't eat pork sometimes, so for whatever reason, so they thought it was like going to be sloppy joe's barbecue, and like no, it was pulled pork barbecue. Like so. It was interesting. Like I never heard that before. Like people calling sloppy joe's barbecue, right?
Well, I guess it's like, where is it? Like Virginia, or whatever they call like pop is called like Coke.
Yeah, I guess it's regional, a little bit. But yeah, traditionally like barbecue is low and slow, grilling's hot and fast. So, and then the last question here, and we just kind of covered this one. Can I grill outside when it's cold? Yes, and.
Do it.
Right. Year round, whenever. There is no grill season.
Yeah.
It's just kind of your personal preference, what you like to do. Some people don't. Some people put them away during the winter. That's fine, whatever. But for us, like we kind of keep them out all year long because, like we talked a little bit earlier, like grilling's kind of like a getaway for us, right? And hence the podcast, Grilling to Get Away. So like we do that all year round. Like not just when we're drinking or not drinking, not when it's cold or not cold. It's kind of a release for us to be creative and, release some stress a little bit. So definitely you can grill when it's cold outside. Just got to watch your temperatures.
Pay attention to it. It's just a game.
Yeah. And go back to listen to our last podcast where we talked about that. But those are the top 7 questions from ChatGPT that get asked the most on the interwebs. So hopefully you found some good information if you're just starting out. And but that's all I had for today, Ben. Any other questions that you can think of that maybe you heard about recently?
I don't think so, man. I mean, like I said, lots of people out doing like buying new grills. It seems like lots of people are putting in like their research and kind of what they want to get, which is good. It's good to see. But yeah, it's just a lot of questions around like kind of the grills that I use, and what I would recommend. And like, I can't tell you too, man. Like the amount of people that we do talk to that have like the pit bosses absolutely love them, and the reps that we talk to that we know that sell them, like absolutely love them. So I guess we're gonna go with the pellet. And I don't have one. I know you don't have one. I hear the pit boss seems to be like, when we hear about it,
people are buying them, and the cost has a lot to do with that one. Somebody like the one I was talking to, the guy, he's like, I was looking at Traegers, I was looking at pit bosses, but like, for a fraction of the price, really kind of similar quality, so to speak, you can get something that's still pretty good. All right, man, that was all I had. Got any ideas for what you're gonna be cooking coming up?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been gone, so I really haven't cooked much lately. We'll be gone the next like couple of nights too. Sounds like, but I don't know.
Sports stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Kids out and about, which is good. But it's warming up a little bit, man. We're like above 30.
Yeah.
We're above 30. It's a
I
heat
know.
wave,
Yeah, I know, but it's quite windy. Windy. We're gonna have to do a podcast on like windy, like how to cook when it's really windy, because it's like 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
So you don't start burning down California.
I don't want that, man. So I don't have anything planned. I keep going back and forth on doing some chili soon, getting kind of some stuff ready for Super Bowl, because that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, which I think next week we're going to talk about stuff for that, aren't we?
Yeah. So the next one here, let me pull up so we can give you a teaser. But what we're going to be talking about next is we got Super Bowl coming up. Congrats to the two teams, of course, that made it.
That's trash, man. I saw this. I saw this thing like over a month ago that said it showed like the Super Bowl we want, which was like the Lions and Bills, and then it said the Super Bowl we're gonna get, and it was the Chiefs Eagles. And this was like a month and a half ago at least. I'm like, that's garbage.
I told the boys, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm planning for an Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl, so this was before the game started. I hope it's not that way, but that's the way it went.
That's the way it went.
So next week we're going to be talking about the secrets to wings. So Super Bowl wings.
Just did wings last weekend.
Nice. So great. We're talking about wings, and then also maybe some additional tips for game day coming up. So
didn't you say you had like an app that you wanted to ask about too that you had seen?
An app.
Like an app, something for
appetizer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was it?
Or did you want to wait until next?
Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah.
I'll have to just jog my memory with that one.
That's fine.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Now I remember what I was thinking about.
Write it down.
I'll have to write it down here. I'll write it down in my notes here.
There we go.
And then we got to pick a winner for this week.
Last week. Yeah. Last one in January
here. So I got Brandon here. I got your email. Don't know where you're from or where you're at, but you subscribed 5 days ago. We appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for continuing to subscribe and listen to the podcast. Again, go out to the website, burnpitbbq.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. We do weekly giveaways on the podcast where we pick subscribers that subscribe to our newsletter, and we give them some products. So we're doing that. So congrats, Brandon. We'll reach out, get your address and stuff. But that's all I got, man.
Okay.
All right.
Take it easy.
We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.